one head, two tails, yang line, which is a solid line at the bottom of our hexagram. Another yin yang, one head, two tails. Whatever question we may be coming to the oracle with, consulting the I-ming or consulting the oracle, the general basis behind it will be, how can I act in creative relation with the spirits or forces of shaping this moment of time? One tail, two heads, which is a yang yin line. And so far, this is how this would be drawn. Yang, yang yang, yang yang, yang yin. Which gives us our first trigram. Or bottom trigram. Or inner trigram. Two heads, one tail, yang yin line. One head, two tails, yang yang line. One head, two tails, another yang yang line. This is what our hexagram looks like. Bottom trigram, or inner trigram, is dewy, lake, or marsh. Dewy is lake and marsh, abundant energy that teems with life. She is the impulse to communicate, share, and exchange, and delights in both inner and outer conversation. She brings things into circulation and gives them voice. This is the sheer enjoyment of participating in life to the full, expressing ourselves and hearing others and satisfying our desires. Lake is the youngest daughter, spirit of the fertile west and of autumn. and that is solid, solid, broken, that trigram, working from the bottom up. Broken, solid, solid, which is our top trigram, or outer trigram. Broken, solid, solid is Zun, wind or wood. Zun is both wind and living plants. Whatever penetrates, spreads and grows, shaping itself to the space available, or shaping that space to its own nature. She's responsive flexibility, sensitively improvising and adapting. Like the wind, she can always find a way through because she never creates any resistance, and so her influence is subtle and gradual, but far-reaching. In the family of trigrams, Xun is the eldest daughter, gentle and submissive. She belongs to the southeast and to late spring and early summer. We will only be getting one hexagram out of this reading, so that highly emphasizes that hexagram for us. We have solid, solid, broken, dewy as our bottom trigram, and our top trigram is broken, solid, solid. Okay. So that gives us hexagram 61. A selection that I wanted to read before we get into our reading. That is going to be from Understanding Reality from the Taoist Classics collection, Volume 2 by Thomas Cleary. Understanding Reality is a Taoist alchemical classic, a 10th century text on the principles of inner alchemy. Reaching India without moving a step, sitting straight, all places are present before the eyes. A halo behind the head is still a phantom. Even when clouds rise beneath your feet, you are still not an immortal. The fundamental nature of enlightenment has no head or tail, no back or front. When you go toward it, you do not see its head. When you follow it, you do not see its back. If you say it exists, yet it seems not to. If you say it does not exist, yet it does. Not falling within descriptions in terms of existence or non-existence. Its light penetrates the hidden and reaches the revealed, able to illumine the universe. This is spontaneous, ineffable awareness. Basically, it is not produced by sitting. All those who study Ch'an and practice sitting, those who just play with the discriminating consciousness, think they have actually attained Buddhahood when they see illusory scenes and unreal images, or dream they travel to India, or produce lights from their heads, or see things in trance, or walk in the clouds in ecstasy. They are far off. Those who aspire to the Tao should first sweep away all sidetracks and aberrated paths, then seek out the true ineffable awareness, where there is no form or appearance. Only then can the fundamental nature be realized. Unminding. What a laugh my mind is, like a dunce, like a bumpkin, now unmoving, now ebullient, calmly letting things be as they may. I do not know how to cultivate spiritual practice, yet do not do anything wrong. I have never helped other people, yet am not self-serving either. I do not keep any rules of discipline, nor do I follow taboos. I do not know ritual or music. I do not practice benevolence and duty. What people can do, I do not understand at all. When hungry, I eat. When thirsty, I drink. When tired, I sleep. Waking, I act. When it's hot, I dress lightly. When cold, I put on more clothes. Without thought or rumination, what sorrow, what joy. No regret, no ambition, no memories, no ideas. The ups and downs of ordinary life are just ends on a journey. A tree in a forest where birds may perch also can be a simile. It does not try to prevent their coming, and does not try to stop them when they leave. Not avoiding, not seeking, no praise, no blame. I do not dislike ugliness or envy beauty. I do not run for a quiet room or run away from the bustling city. I am not solicitous of the highly placed, nor do I slight the lowly or the young. Friend and enemy, great and small, inside and outside, sadness and happiness, gain and loss, honor or insult, danger or ease, my mind does not see dualistically, but is equanimous, all the same. It does not lead to fortune and does not start calamity. Sensing, it responds. Returning, it again arises. I do not fear weapons. I am not scared for wild beasts. I refer to whatever is at hand without being restricted by names. My eyes do not go to forms. Sounds do not enter my ears. Whatever appearances there may be, all belong to falsity. The forms and voices of men and women are not fixed entities. Mindless of physical appearances, I am not influenced or attached. Wandering freely, nothing can get me down. The sphere of light of ineffable awareness shines throughout, inside and out, enfolding the four quarters without far or near. The light is not light, it is like the moon in the water. Since you cannot grasp it or throw it out, how can you compare it to anything? When you understand this sublime function, you transcend to the beyond. If anyone asks my religion, it is just this. This lengthy poem just illustrates unminding. The marvel is in unminding, by which one can be beyond the world while in the world, roaming freely, untrammeled by things. Not a particle of dust is to be admitted into people's hearts, for whenever there is any dust within, endless human mentality emerges. Once human mentality arises, one becomes capricious and loses autonomy and independence, taking the servant for the master and considering the master a servant. How then can one be free? If one can be totally unminding, imperturbable, and unshakable, then one is independent. When independent, one is autonomous. Myriad ruminations cease, entanglements do not arise. The sphere of light of ineffable awareness is all-pervasive and all-embracing, without distinction of far or near. This is true attainment of freedom, the sublime function of unminding. Picking up the pearl. The pearl in the poor one's clothes is originally round and bright. If one does not know how to find it oneself, one will count others' treasures instead. Counting others' treasures is after all of no benefit. It just makes you expend your labor in vain. How can it compare to recognizing your own jewel, which is worth more than billions in gold? The shine of this precious pearl is most great, as it lightens up all worlds in the universe. It has never been subject to diminution, but has been blocked by floating clouds. After having recognized this jewel, who would care for ephemeral illusions anymore? The pearl of Buddha is the same as one's own pearl. One's own essence returns to the ocean of the essence of Buddhahood. The pearl is not a pearl, the ocean is not an ocean. Equanimous, the measure of mind embraces the cosmos. Let the dust and clamor fill your purview. Stability and wisdom, round and bright, are always free. This is not void, this is not material. Inside and outside are clear without obstruction. The 6 psychic powers are subtle and inexhaustible, helping self and others without any end. See and you understand. Myriad tasks are done. Beyond study, you pass the days without contrivance. Calm as an infant without a set character. Active or still according to situations without fixation. Neither stopping illusion nor cultivating truth. The ideas of truth and falsehood are all in the realm of dust. Myriad things have always been signless. In signlessness, there is the body of reality. The body of reality is the naturally so Buddha, neither a person nor a thing. So vast as to fill the universe, it is rarefied and ungraspable, Filth cannot defile it. Its light is inherently bright. There's nothing that is not born from mind. If mind is unborn, things pass away. Then you know sin and merit are basically formless. There is no Buddhahood to cultivate, no teaching to preach. The knowledge and insight of great people are naturally distinct. When they speak, they make the roar of a lion, unlike jackals discussing birth and death. The important point in this poem is the line, if mind is unborn, things pass away. These things are the various thoughts and imaginations in the mind. If the mind is unborn, all things are empty. The pearl of essence is always shining. Stability and wisdom are round and bright. Inside and outside are clear. Ephemeral illusions are not worthy of attachment. Dust and clamor may fill the eyes, but cannot be a hindrance. Beyond study, uncontrived, one is like an unformed infant, active or still according to circumstances, without illusory images of truth or falsehood. The body of reality always exposed, the naturally so Buddha is manifest. Then it fills the universe, light shining on all worlds. What veil of floating clouds is there? Oh yeah, we have hexagram 60, 61, which I'm going to be primarily reading out of the Taoist I-ming, translated by Thomas Cleary, written in 1796 by a Taoist adept named I-ming. So hexagram 61 is faithfulness in the center. Avoidance of both obsession and negligence, seeking fulfillment by becoming empty. '61. Not getting any changing lines. If we would have gotten 3 heads, that would have been an old yang line. 3 tails would have been an old yin line. Each of those would have transformed into their opposite yang lines. And that would have given us a supporting hexagram. So we would have gotten our original hexagram, and then the changing lines would change. But not having that happen, that highly emphasizes this hexagram for us. 61. Faithfulness in the center. Faithfulness in the center is auspicious when it reaches even pigs and fish. It is beneficial to cross great rivers. It is beneficial to be correct. Explanation. Faithfulness is truthfulness. Faithfulness in the center means truthfulness is within. The body of the hexagram has 4 yangs outside and 2 yins inside. Open inside, solid outside. Openness and solidity balance each other. Inside and outside correspond. Also, the qualities of the hexagram are inner joy and outer accord. Traversing the path with joyful accord, not obsessed and not astray, it is therefore called faithfulness in the center. This hexagram represents seeking fulfillment by being empty. It follows on the previous hexagram, dispersal. In dispersal, yang is trapped by yin. Yin sneaks in and yang gradually dissolves. If you want yin not to trap yang, but to accord with yang so that yin and yang can join, this is impossible unless you are seriously faithful to the Tao. Without faithfulness to the Tao, practice is insubstantial and lacks power, inevitably leading to failure to complete what has been started. But if the mind is faithful and united, and thought is pure and true, myriad ruminations cease and sincerity within reaches outward, so that one can genuinely carry on true practice, leading from lowliness to exaltation, from shallowness to depth, gradually enabling one to reach the state of profound attainment and self-realization. Spiritual alchemy, the science of the gold elixir, uses the yellow woman as the go-between for yin and yang. The yellow woman is true intent. Faithfulness in the center is truthfulness in the center. Truthfulness is associated with earth, which is called the yellow woman. With the yellow woman in the center, it is possible to harmonize yin and yang, to communicate with self and others, to respond to myriad things. There is nothing that cannot be influenced. Therefore, faithfulness in the center is auspicious when it reaches even pigs and fish. Pigs and fish represent those without knowledge. When truthfulness can influence them, those without knowledge can harmonize themselves. How much the more so those with knowledge? If practitioners of Tao can apply the truthfulness that influence even pigs and fish to cultivate of essence and life, they will not fail to produce good results. However, if faithfulness can be carried out in ease but not adversity, that faithfulness is not real and will surely crumble in the end. Even if one is faithful in this way, it does not bode well. There are people who believe in the Tao, and there are those who believe in the Tao and practice it regularly when all is well and comfortable. But there are hardly any who forget themselves for the Tao and do not lose control in situations of great difficulty and stress. When there are great obstacles, when things are topsy-turvy and in a shambles, and it is difficult to bear up patiently. If one can remain unmoved and unperturbed in situations that are hard to endure, can go on through and get out, this alone is faithfulness that can move pigs and fish. This is why it is beneficial to cross great rivers, for faithfulness in the center to bode well. Great rivers represent most hazardous places, adverse situations. If one can cross over adverse situations, needless to say, one can cross over favorable situations. When able to pass through both favorable and adverse situations, that faithfulness is beneficial and suspicious wherever it goes. I assume they meant auspicious. However, the 72 aberrant schools, with their 3,600 deviant practices, all cling to voidness or stick to forms. These are not studies that can fulfill our nature and lead to the meaning of life. The false distorts the real, the aberrant adulterates the correct. If you have faith without discriminating the false and real, the aberrant and correct, this is incorrect faithfulness, which is not beneficial and does not lead to good results. Therefore, faithfulness is only beneficial if it is correct. Correct faith and correct practice meet with good results. Unhindered in adversity or ease, entering from striving into non-striving, thereby perfecting essence in life, completing beginning and end. Of this one can be sure. Of this one can be sure. We'll also read, there's the back commentary. Almost forgot that. It goes a little bit more into, I suppose, I-ming's Taoist perspective on that hexagram. Truthfulness within is what it's translated to back here. Wind above, lake below. There is wind above a lake, with truthfulness between them. Thus, superior people consider judgments and postpone execution. Truthfulness within means there is sincerity in the center. Above is wind, below is lake. There is wind above a lake. The form of a lake is facing upward. The nature of wind is penetrating. Wind blows on the lake receives the wind, as though there is feeling between them. This is the image of truthfulness within. What superior people see in this is that adjudication of criminal cases concerns people's nature and life, and if there is any carelessness, the innocent are harmed. Therefore, after a conviction is established, they do not immediately carry out the sentence. Even if the crime is unpardonable, they still postpone execution and reconsider the case, seeking a way of life in the midst of death. Practitioners of the Tao search out the recondite and find out the hidden, fish out the profound and reach the remote, so as to thoroughly investigate the abstruse and subtle truth. This requires genuine knowledge and clear vision, without the slightest trace of confusion in the mind. In this sense, it is like adjudication of criminal cases. When one understands truth in the mind and puts it into actual practice, the mind dies and the spirit comes to life. Gradually cultivating this without seeking immediate results is like postponing execution. Consideration is whereby life is sought in the midst of death, freeing the innocent and condemning the guilty, enlivening what should be alive and killing what should be dead. If consideration is not thoroughgoing, one has no independent perception, and one does not have too much self-confidence. How could it be appropriate to kill rashly? Postponement means reconsideration of whether or not death is appropriate. Inasmuch as the way of life is perforce difficult, the way of death is not easy either. If one does not postpone death, rather hastens death, hoping for quick accomplishment, one may become a nihilistic quietist. So it is a matter of death, after consideration, and then reconsideration at the time of death, whether it is right or wrong, true or false. Only when this is perfectly clear in one's mind will one avoid the mistake of taking the spurious for the genuine. In the image of the hexagram, above is wind, representing gradual advance, while below is lake, representing harmonious and joyful action. Gradualism means one can avoid haste. Harmony means one can be considerate. With consideration and relaxation, truthfulness within being put into practice outwardly, an all-out effort will dissolve away all the pollution of conditioning and expose the primordial original being, so that one will surely reach the realm of eternal life. Hilary Barrett translates Hexagram 61 to inner truth. Where do you place your trust? Key questions. Where do you place your trust? What feels true? Oracle. Inner truth. Piglets and fishes, good fortune. Fruitful to cross the great river. Constancy bears fruit. The old Chinese character for inner probably shows a drum mounted on a pole. It suggests centrality and balance, and also the vibrations that carry through inner space. And the character for truth shows a bird's claw over a child, suggesting the mother bird protecting her young. It also means confidence, and the sincerity that inspires it. Absolute presence and concentration, creating a true connection. The very present truth vibrates through you like a drumbeat. You apprehend it directly as an inner resonance. The lines of the hexagram itself show a space at the center, open to listen and resound with the intensity of experience. Piglets and fishes are symbols of wealth, plenty, and luck. They are staple foods used in humble offerings to the spirits. To receive piglets and fishes shows that you are in a state of connectedness and can trust you will be provided for. Success in ongoing ventures, rearing your pigs, and the insight to be in the right place at the right time, placing the fishing nets, are both manifestations of your inner truth. And so it is good to commit yourself. Inner truth will naturally move you towards new landscapes, as the inner hollow of a boat would carry you across the water. You stay true to your understanding by carrying it through into action, translating the moment of insight into responsiveness as a constant way of living. Image. Above the lake is the wind, inner truth. A noble one deliberates over legal proceedings and delays executions. The wind reaches and influences everywhere, always bringing new messages of change. The open surface of the lake, stirred by the wind, is constantly in motion. As the lake doesn't set hard into a final shape, so the noble one is slow to take irreversible decisions. To be true, she stays fluid and open, allowing herself to be moved by changing circumstances and new perspectives. Sequence. Inner truth follows from hexagram 60, measuring. Measuring and also trusting it, and so inner truth follows. By clearly defining agreements, measuring makes trust possible. When people share a way of measuring and understanding, a mental map, they can trust one another. When the map corresponds with reality, they enjoy a trustworthy connection with the world. Pair. Inner truth is paired and contrasted with hexagram 62, small exceeding. Small exceeding steps over the line. Inner truth means trust. With inner truth, you have complete confidence. Things feel stable and dependable. Small exceeding is the opposite experience, stepping out into the world, feeling small, exposed and out of balance, constantly aware of the need of help. Constantly aware of the need to adapt. Made these cards since I found flipping through the Tao Te Ching to find a random chapter or verse there. The book wants to open to certain pages, so I made up 81 cards that fit the number of chapters in the Tao Te Ching, and so we'll figure out this way which one to read. Looks like 2 flipped out. I'm going to read chapter 50, followed by chapter 37. Chapter 50 of the Tao Te Ching, translated by Jia Fu Fang and Jane English. 50. Between birth and death, 3 in 10 are followers of life, 3 in 10 are followers of death, and men just passing from birth to death also number 3 in 10. Why is this so? Because they live their lives on the gross level. He who knows how to live can walk abroad, without fear of rhinoceros or tiger. He will not be wounded in battle, for in him rhinoceroses can find no place to thrust their horn, tigers no place to use their claws, and weapons no place to pierce. Why is this so? Because he has no place for death to enter. Then chapter 37 in the Tao Te Ching. Tao abides in non-action, yet nothing is left undone. If kings and lords observed this, the 10,000 things would develop naturally. If they still desired to act, they would return to the simplicity of formless substance. Without form there is no desire. Without desire there is tranquility. And in this way all things would be at peace.